Hello, everybody. This is Debo at Debo's Movie Reviews here, and this week's review will be Hobbs and Shaw, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jason Statham, Vanessa Kirby, Idris Elba, featuring Aiza Gonzalez, Roman Reigns, Cliff Curtis, and along with Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart. I'll say, definite shift from the franchise that started out as street racing, then became secret agents, and especially to do for the spinoff to do with Agent Hobbs, and then Deckard Shaw, who started out as a villain and then became, and then in Fast and Furious joined the family, you could say. Since we know it, since F9, we know that Han was never really dead, and the whole plot deal was 7 was just messed up. And then, of course, we begin. Excellent storyline from how it goes with Hattie Shaw, who was MI6 before joining. Then she joined until she gets framed as a patsy, and after Bricks and Lore attacks this lab, and then kills all half her team, practically all of her team, that is. And oof, I gotta say, Bricks and Lore. I mean, you'd think it'd be the closest Idris will get being Bond, but this is more like if he like Bricks and Lore turns out to be like a one where it turns out a backstory of Deckard Shaw's going about how he thought he killed the guy once before, because he was like more rogue than he is. And yeah, in your red cast, you'd think he'd be close, he'd get to be a Bond villain, but hey, instead we get him as a kind of like his take on like Universal Soldier kind of deal. From just going from like regular soldier to becoming a cyborg killing machine, which is almost like left field for a franchise that started out as street racing, that then turn into clandestine spy films. But yeah, you almost watching this as a standalone, you'd think it was just a generic spy movie, not a part of an excellent saga. I mean, when it comes to Fast and Furious franchise, as much hate as gets on social media and shit, but you see memes like "Stop making Fast and Furious movies," and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, quit making sequels to Saw and Scream instead, because that shit's been milked harder. Although, at least one aspect they finally touched on with Hobbs and Shaw was at least some car stunts featuring pre-war vehicles, where everyone seen went into smoke with sequence where after they had the Etion guys and the Hobbs family just fighting off those mercs, which is Bricks and Lore's men. Which the whole thing at Etion is kind of like a little weird when you had like a computer or something like Universal Soldier, that second one, if you had If you're just going by the Van Damme one movies, not the Matt Battaglia ones. Yeah, it was kind of like like that computer thing. You don't figure it out. It was the big fish on that one. Feel like a sequel, or hey, figure out, or hell, who knows in that Fast X will bring, which kind of makes me brings the Fast X, which well, yeah, but all I gotta say so far is a missed opportunity for them to call it fasten your seatbelts. I mean, yeah, y'all was kind of screwed up on that one because hell, back growing up, the only Fast X I know about was Team Fast X was from the '90s animated series NASCAR racers. If you know, you know, kind of deal. But back to Hobbs and Shaw, man, I gotta give it to Statham and The Rock. I mean, that would have been like Seagal and Van Damme doing a movie together, because those two are the action movie powerhouses. Because especially when it came to surprising how The Rock hadn't been in the Expendables, but then again, that franchise has been downhill since the third one. Enough, but I've done said all I said about them because I've already reviewed all three of them. So Expendables movies, that is. But overall, Hobbs and Shaw, excellent cast storyline. The whole where Hattie, Shaw gets framed as a patsy for Laura's actions. I gotta say some, and then excellence. But now to the excellent chase sequences, action scenes, and all. Because from how it goes from like one time when they in the London office and they in and Hobbs realizes Hattie is Shaw's sister, and then and of course Laura attacks with a few of his men, and then and all that old epic chase scene, kind of like they had that Lamborghini, or I can't figure out what make of that sports car was, but one was so low that went go for that trailer. I mean, all I could think of was that line from Smokey and the Bandit where you're going, Doug, are you gonna be talking out of your ass, boy? And then with Brooks and Laura on that badass motorcycle, I mean, the way it just glided through it just went through that barrier, the way it did, just transformed. I mean, jeez, that was like that was more advanced that neither Q branch from the Bond movies or Batman could come up with couldn't outdo that one. And then you had the whole Russia sequence where he's meeting Aizen Gonzalez, and I was like, hey, by the time she joined that franchise, it was about as close as she shows we'll get to having her as a Bond girl so far. And hell, and that whole Russia sequence where they get captured and the whole the epic fight scene, and then they get captured and they just doing like a Marvel movie where they have like a bunch of jokes in between, and it's like, and then of course she pulls like a yeah, or they call it a Jagger, but I think it reminds me. All I can think of was Shoot 'Em Up, where from starring Clive Owen, where the Etion guns were all signature smart guns, but like, and it was going. All I could think, but Paul Giamatti's voice going. Afghan won't work without the thumbprint safety device. which of course led to that one scene, which first time I watched, I thought was just dumb to go against to be to talk about the whole annoying trope of action movies of the I hit guns trope. But hey, and that whole do away with guns and then old gun room, but it's all ancient weapons and such. At first, I was like, man, that was stupid. Then it comes that montage scene where it's about like something I like an episode of A Team where they just building all them weapons, zipping up their cars, basically laying the ATI agents out for a trap and such. And I was like, woof. And then kind of like back to that Russia scene where they were escaping and they had that truck and that yeah and that in an off road vehicle. Ooh, that was some badass Dukes of Hazard shit right there. And then you had that then back to Samoa and then little showdown where they patched where Hobbs had to patch up relationship with his brothers after admitting to dropping the dime on her daddy and such. And then and of course with with the Shaw thing and the whole talk about some epic scenes that look like some out of Mad Max with them tricked out trucks and such. But eh, hey, it was a better fleet than the rice burners from the first two movies. But overall, I'm definitely giving Hobbs and Shaw a 5 out of 5. I mean, mm, I mean, unpopular opinion, but there ain't enough. There's too many sequels to 80s and 90s horror franchises than there are too many Fast and Furious movies. But hey, Hobbs and Shaw, 5 out of 5. All right, all right, y'all. I hope y'all like that movie. Like my hope y'all, as much as y'all like my review, and I'll keep dishing them out.